Is that a catch or a rush?
I don't know.
Listed as a catch in the box score.
Let's go. All right, we'll take 8. We'll take 8. We claw our way back, boys. Chat, we live?
The backstop.
It's fair. Appreciate the shout outs, though, man.
That was yesterday, dude.
What?
That was yesterday.
Yeah, I just got a notification now.
Oh, really? Izzy, thanks for the sub, brother.
Come on, Danny.
Here we go, Danny.
Beavers catching it?
Oh, W. Appreciate that.
I need extra red. Always me.
We're at a ranch. You better stock up, Frosty. Wake up.
Frosty's got all the sweet and sour, I heard.
Damn. Who's got the honey Dijon? I'm drowning in honey must. Wow. Is this Tracy
They're
the real
welcome.
deal or what?
Yes, I like him.
I think he's
this
solid.
Giants... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Slimmer.
I think he's solid here.
Yeah. I was going to say, this Giants draft class is fucking insane. Neighbors, Newman, Tracy. I like Theo. Slot corner is really good.
Oh, here it is, bro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that too, T-Rain. Giants fans, Eli Manning merchants.
Oh, D. Jones slinging the rock.
Oh, Tracy.
Can you hear me, Ramble Nation? What's up, dude?
Snowman, you can hit start cam when you're ready.
Dude, being a DJ would be pretty tight.
Yeah.
Snowman,
Oh,
I feel like you'd be kind of tight on the ones and twos. I can't lie. Yeah, dude. I don't know.
Bro, maybe back in the day. I'm too old now to be a DJ. My gray hairs have aged me far too much to be back in that club scene. I'll party every now and then.
There you go.
Yeah, we got to get a section one day, Snowman. Maybe in 5 years when we're both rich and successful through this
fact,
shit.
fact.
Cam, are you backstage? I see you back there hiding in the shadows.
Oh, shit. I didn't even see that.
Just let me know
Yeah,
when
wait
your cam
till
looks
he's ready.
We'll bring, we'll bring you up. Shout out everyone who's in here. Snowman, give me a whale. I'm sure he's got a few today. Episode 48, creeping up on 50. Thank you for coming through, Snowman, as always. How much is it? Just one stream that we've done together so far?
Yes, sir. Last week, Sunday. We're back again this week. Let's go back to back. Massive NFL days for the Ramble Now boys.
It was so fun. It felt like we've done multiple streams together. It's funny. So had to bring you back. Beeve might come on in a little bit. Depends on how the Giants do, I think. If they score, we'll probably see Beeve pretty soon. Cam His Money's going to come on. He's figuring out his cam, I think, in the background here. But yeah, man, excited to talk some ball. Royal, got to give you your flowers again. What, 15-2 on the pods? Thank you.
14, yeah. About to,
14-2.
I figured it's before we get into it, just because if anyone has FanDuel, you got to take it on FanDuel for now.
What's up, Cam?
About to drop it right now.
But,
So chat,
How you doing?
go show some love.
Are you
Bang.
dropping the next pod for today?
Yep.
All right, let's bring it up. Let's see what it is.
No write-up, though. I didn't have enough time. But I will say, chat, best numbers on FanDuel, 28.5. Honestly, if your book doesn't have it, I'd wait because most books are like 20.5 minus 105. And it's the same thing that happened with Harden yesterday. All books like drop the line. So honestly, it's at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I would honestly just wait and see if it drops if your book doesn't have it. But yeah, honestly, I think if he goes over, it's going to be 30 plus. So D-book,
Why is it
baby.
such a loaded NBA slate on a Sunday?
I don't know. I'm pissed because
I know.
tomorrow's gonna be rat shit now.
Yeah, it's like I figured it'd be like 3 games today, and I looked in the lab. I'm like, bro, I don't got time for this.
I know.
Exactly.
And I feel
That's
like
why
whenever there's a big either MLB or NBA slate on Sunday, those are always good days to attack because everyone's focused on football.
You're so right, son, man. You're so right. I'm pretty sure that Sunday was the day that Maxey dropped 40, if I'm not mistaken. So you're 100% right on that. Somebody sub me. Nobody give Beeve any subs, dude. He can afford a sub on his own. But all right, book. I gotta lock that in. Just points, Royal. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I mean, in the past, I would always take PRAs, but like I'm looking at this team, like I don't really. One, the Kings are off a bad loss, so like I don't want to go rebounds because I think they're gonna kind of score in the paint. I mean, Suns defense is pretty shit. And two, I was like assist. One, Tyus Jones is there. We know he's out there to dime. Two, I'm like looking at this team, and like I don't even know who I trust to score.
Like, man, I'm just gonna blind tail you into battle right now. I don't think you got to sell me too much on it, to be honest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I went just points. I mean, KD's out. It's a perfect matchup versus the Kings. Spread's supposed to be close. Like I said, Kings off a bad loss. Suns on a 7-game win streak. So I think it's close, and yeah, I think book just kind of splooges.
What's going on with Beeve and the Giants here? Anything good?
Nothing good.
Nothing good.
No good updates.
They got into the red zone at the 2-minute warning, so at least threatening to get on the board before half.
I hope they run another flea flicker. That'd be pretty tough. But Cam, thanks for coming on, brother. This is long overdue, I think. Do you how many plays you got locked in so far, bro?
Yeah, I have a lot for this slate.
Nah, forget the red zone points. They just got intercepted.
But
No way, bro. I just watched it. Oh my God, bring in Drew Lock, man. This is bad.
yeah, I have Theo Johnson over yards in this game. Every time I bet a Giant, bro, instant regret. Like
I have Neighbors, dude.
like, why did
I felt like you couldn't go wrong with fucking Neighbors versus the Panthers.
Yeah.
Well, I think that answers our question if we're seeing Beeve today or not.
He threw it at him, bro. Oh my God.
Bryce Young's didn't do just enough to buy another year on his job.
Off the helmet, bro.
Yeah, you can't make it up. Sometimes you can't make it up with Daniel Jones.
In piss at 8:30 a.m. is crazy.
All right, let's get started on the slate, though.
Yeah.
I was looking at a few things in this game, personally. I didn't get to anything yet. I was looking at
Crazy.
McLaurin. I know you were too, Royal.
Yep.
But do you guys have any opinions on this game? I could make an argument that this is a pretty high total for Pittsburgh, no? What are their highest total of the years?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time to admit that Washington is really fucking good. They're good, and they're bought in. They just traded for Lattimore, which they needed desperately. That's been their one weakness is their pass rush a little bit. That's been getting better under Dan Quinn. And then their secondary. I mean, they just simply don't have the talent. So that was huge. I thought that was a massive pickup. And, yeah, it's time to admit that they're a fucking good team. One thing about McLaurin, I do love him. I'm honestly a little scared of Joey Porter, I'll be honest. I think he shadows. I don't know if anyone can confirm.
Yeah, he does.
I think he shadows, which I don't want to get involved in. So that would make me want to take Ertz or Noah Brown, who also match up really well. But that's all I got. I definitely lean points. I think Washington can score on anybody, honestly, as we've seen. So
Yeah, I squared up with Najee here. Like, I think when I look at this game, Najee's been the hot hand ever since they brought in Russ as the starter. And I think they have to just keep running the ball, killing the clock, keeping Jaden off the field. So I like Najee have at least like 15 to 16 carries in this game. So when his yards at 63.5, I like it because Washington's run defense is kind of their weakness on defense, anyways.
Yep.
So the best way keep their defense off the field, rested, keep short drives on Washington, and just pound the rock and Najee all game. So Russ obviously works better at the play action too. So just get that going. I'm curious to see how fast they fit in like Mike Williams into this offense.
Yeah.
He looked god awful with the Jets this year. Obviously very talented still. So I hope they bring him in pretty quick and start utilizing him.
Yeah, I think this total is so high because of the Steelers' offense has looked much, much better with Russ at quarterback, and as you said, Washington is a very legit offense. But even with that, it still feels kind of low for what these two teams have been doing offensively. Like this is kind of projecting like a 24-21 kind of game. I mean, both these teams have been putting up big points here. I think that we actually might be seeing a little bit more of a defensive focused game because of Pittsburgh's defense being so good. And Daniels, obviously he's a rookie and has had a lot of great experiences, but this is one of the top defenses in the league, and he hasn't really gone against that many overall elite defenses.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I could see them struggling a little bit. I mean, the one time that he did face a quote unquote, actually, I don't even think there's any elite defense
Baltimore.
on the schedule.
Are we gonna say Baltimore?
I was gonna say Baltimore, but they're not really an elite defense anymore. So
Terrible.
Yeah, same with our Bears too. I mean,
right. So I could see this
Tore
game
them up,
being a sneaky under spot. I do like George Pickens receiving yards in this game. Russ has been absolutely feeding him, especially down the field. He's their deep play threat. And even though you mentioned Marcus Lattimore, he is out today.
yeah,
So I think that this is a great opportunity for Pittsburgh to continue to target their weak secondary with their deep play threat, George Pickens. I think that's the play for me in this game.
Are the Steelers coming off a bye?
Let's see here.
think so.
Think about it. I don't think they played last week, right?
Or were they on prime time again?
Should be coming off.
Yeah,
they
they're off
played
a bye.
October 28th. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
should
okay.
be.
I wonder what Tomlin's trends are off a bye.
You
I
could
would
be right,
assume
though,
good.
man.
Yeah,
It's
that's
interesting with the total too. Off a bye, high total. They're off 3 straight overs in terms of Pittsburgh, but highest total. The only thing closer was when they played Dallas, and then Atlanta in the opening. It's interesting.
They really need this game. They have 4 straight division games after this week.
Yeah, I think if you lean Washington, you lean the over, and if you lean Pittsburgh, you lean the under. I think it's really as simple as that.
I think that's very fair.
Yeah, I
can
don't
kinda see,
hate
like,
the
TJ
Najee
Watt
look either game.
Yeah,
He's gonna have to keep that man fed.
Yeah,
curious to see how Watt and Highsmith do. Obviously, Daniels is as mobile as it gets, but I mean those two are fucking on another level right now.
yeah, they're gonna be head on.
That's what I'm saying. Washington's line has been sneakily very good, but again, those two, it doesn't matter who they go up against.
What are you thinking here? Atlanta, New Orleans. Kamara obviously had that legacy game last week. Drake London sold us with that injury bullshit in that last Falcons game. Are we going back? What do we think?
It's tough because, like I said, it's weird because him and Mooney had almost identical lines, and now London's got steamed because everyone's seeing a low line. But Mooney, I always said he was a good receiver for the Bears, given their circumstances. And then I don't know what happened last year. He just got phased out. I've always liked him, and he matches up really good versus man coverage, which obviously the Saints run a ton. Lattimore's obviously gone. He was hurt anyway, but I mean their secondary is just bad, terrible. So I like Mooney. That's why I didn't get there with London. I like Mooney. I like London. I mean, it's hard not to lean Atlanta, but these division games are always weird. And I mean, Saints just lost to the fucking Panthers, so
yeah,
I don't know. It's a tough
I was
one.
going back and forth on what Falcons wide receiver I wanted to back in this game, especially with Drake being banged up. What I landed on was Kirk over 34.5 longest completion, because when you look at the Saints defense, it's just giving out explosive plays after explosive play. Just fired their coach, obviously. Trey Lattimore hasn't even been playing, but you look at the last couple quarterbacks, 34.5 is, I feel was super short against the Saints defense. So You know, it can be Mooney, it can be London that gets it, it can be Pitts. I think they just have way too many mouths to feed in that offense for me to target one wide receiver, and I just went with that.
Yeah,
that's actually a good one.
Yeah, I didn't want to go total game passing yards just in case like the Falcons get a big early, start just killing clock and stuff like that. So I just went with hoping for the one explosive play.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, the amount of times as a Bears fan that I used to watch Darnell Mooney get wide open just for Mitch Trubisky to way overthrow him was disgusting. And Mooney is a very, very solid receiver. You're absolutely 100% right there. The way that I'm looking at this game is on the New Orleans side of things. They just fired their coach last week, new interim coach, and he has a lot of incentive to win, right? As every interim coach does. I'm sure the organization would rather have them tank so they can get a good draft pick, but this is his opportunity to prove to the team that he should be hired as the next head coach and prove to other teams that he is a willing and capable head coach in the future. So when you're in that spot, you really have, nothing to lose. So I am liking Alvin Kamara on the rush yards here in this prop or in this game. I mean, obviously, if I'm an interim coach, the first thing I'm doing is, hey, I got 1 star on this team. I'm going to feed the shit out of him. Olave is injured. He might be even out for the year. So the number 1 receiver is down. And Kamara's rush yards this year have been elite when Derek Carr is in the game. In the last 6 weeks, he's been over the 70.5 rush yards number 5 out of 6 times. The only exception was in that Kansas City game where they got, just absolutely destroyed. And I believe that might have been the game where Carr got injured. Maybe it was the game after that. But regardless, this has been a very consistent number for Kamara to be hitting. I think they absolutely have to feed him the ball. The only way they can really stay in this game is to, keep Atlanta's offense on the sideline. Their defense just got weaker with the loss of Lattimore. So I really think that if they have any chance in this game, it's got to be via Kamara on the ground. So I'm hitting him over 70.5.
Oh, man.
One thing I do like about that is I forgot who it was. Oh, and I took Kenneth Walker versus them. One thing I noticed is like the Falcons front 7. I think it might have been depleted at the time, but like their D line has been getting away with murder. Like every advanced metric, their run defense is terrible. Granted, it might be better now with I think Caden Ellis is back. But yeah, their front 7 should be getting decimated. And it wasn't just because they usually up and teams are throwing on them. But yeah, I like it. I mean, like you said, no Olave, Shaheed's still out. Can't remember the other guy, but like who's the ball going to? Has to be him. Maybe a Taysom Hill. Like, I don't know.
That's the thing, man. The Falcons' pass defense is so bad. I want to back like a Saints wide receiver so bad, bro. But it's like who? You know what I mean?
Tipton, Means, like pick your poison.
I mean, maybe it's Kamara receiving too. Maybe it's Kamara rush plus receiving.
Yeah,
Something about this game told me to take Kyle Pitts. I didn't get there because it's Kyle Pitts, but something about this game is just making me want to take it. Like, well, remember that last game? Like, yeah, he's had some stinkers in the beginning of the year, but you remember that one where he was just completely non-existent? Coming off a similar game like that, and he popped the following week. Like, he's just like that type of player where it's so hard to read, where I can't really put coin on it. But for me, it really feels like a Kyle Pitts, like 75-yard plus type of game. But
let me check.
It's so tough to read with him. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's much better versus man coverage, which obviously the Saints are on. Also, I wanted to say this earlier, but I forgot. Have you guys seen the interim coach for the Saints? He's like a Dan Campbell clone.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's a rah-rah guy?
Yes. Never mind. Kyle Pitts is much better versus zone, which is shocking. But yeah. Yeah, he literally sounds like him. He talks like him. He's the same attitude. It's kind of funny, too, because if you look at the lines, right, Dan Campbell's that type of guy, and then Ben Johnson's the brains, in my opinion. And it kind of feels that way with, I forget their offensive coordinator, Kubiak. Kind of feels like something similar to that. So curious to see.
Yeah.
It is juicy.
All right, next game, San Fran, Tampa Bay. So this game is really interesting in terms of props. I saw a few that were like catching my eye. Haven't locked these in, but I mean, obviously the Bucs secondary is washed. I think that's pretty common knowledge at this point of how bad their defenses looked, especially defending the pass. But looking at Purdy's lines in terms of pass attempts, pretty fucking high. I'm pretty sure it's the highest we've seen all year in terms of completions and pass attempts. You have McCaffrey coming back, so I kind of wanted to buy into a narrative of either backing Purdy or even backing Jordan Mason possibly on his yards. I don't think it will be a full-fledged just McCaffrey attack like we saw last year. You would have to expect they're going to ease him in a little bit, especially against this Tampa Bay team where they could be up multiple scores, and Jordan Mason could get that garbage time. So I don't know how to play this really. I wanted to talk to you guys and see what your thoughts were. Snowman, you thought you had something.
Yeah, I also like the Jordan Mason look. McCaffrey is coming off of a pretty significant injury to the point that he even had to fly to Germany to seek treatment over there. We've seen that in the past with Kobe. Usually what that means is they are looking for some sort of procedure that is illegal in the United States. So if you need to get an illegal operation done on you, it's probably not the greatest sign for your overall health. This is like week 10, week 11 in the NFL, something like that. The 49ers are focused on one thing, winning the Super Bowl. They don't really care about winning this game. They don't really care about the next. I mean, obviously they need to win to make the playoffs, but they're not going to go out and give McCaffrey 25 carries in this game just because, we have McCaffrey back. I think they're definitely going to be not just easing him back in this game, but the entire regular season. I'm going to really need to see it from him before I actually start putting coin on him, especially when he's like minus 220 for a touchdown. Yeah, he probably does score, but I mean, his line is 67.5 yards for a reason. If you're a believer in McCaffrey, then you should be jumping all over him today because this is by far the lowest you'll ever see him. I just don't think he's going to have the massive workload we're expecting. This is a very run-heavy team. Shanahan loves to run the ball. He loves to use the run to set up the play action. So I do think that Jordan Mason is going to get some looks here. And only a 20.5 over-under number. I mean, this could be 2 carries to get that against a bad Tampa Bay defense.
That's what I kind of want to buy into. The line being low doesn't really scare me off just because of the situation we're in, right? So I guess I'm talking myself into just taking his yards, to be honest.
Who, Purdy?
No, Mason.
Mason, yeah, I was gonna say. Well, think like Snowman. Everything he just said is like spot on. It's like sorry, my camera's fucked up because I'm eating, but why would you just phase like Mason out completely? He was the leading rusher for a few weeks. Like he's been great, and honestly, in that system, you can put anyone there. I saw Cam was big on the other backup too. I can't remember his name, but like he had almost 100 yards, if not more. So to me, it's why risk McCaffrey? Other thing too. Yeah, Bucs defense is terrible, specifically in the secondary, and I think they're the worst against tight ends too. Like Kittle should have a big game. Only reason why I can get there is because you got Debo, you got Pearsall, who looks really good, and it seems like they're trying to build him up with how bad Ayuk's been. I mean, I know he got extended, but
so you're saying this is just a Buccaneers tax? Like this is Purdy's past completions?
Like yes and no. The point I was getting is, I don't want to pick a weapon because there's too many. Like Jawan Jennings has been really good too. There's so many weapons, and like I said, Kittle has the best matchup on the board. But like, is he going to get the volume? I don't know.
I think if you want to back
Purdy or Mason, yeah,
exactly. That's what we're getting at. And like the thing that really caught my eye was his pass completions. He's been at 21.5 in the past, but he's never hit it. Opening game didn't hit it. Third game of the year didn't hit it. And then these last 4, he's gone under 15, 19, 18, 17, 18 completions. Like against this defense, it could just be like a square play that I guess people aren't going to take because of how red the chart is. But I'm a little nervous just in terms of how quickly this game could be over, to be honest. So I don't know how much they're going to have to throw the ball. Yeah, the matchup's there, so I don't want to buy into the line too much. That's the only thing keeping me off.
So the thing for me, man, I mean, Royal brought it up, but this is like my 7th week in a row taking the tight end against the Buccaneers, man. You just have to. I mean, like the biggest thing, they're giving up like 70 yards a game to the tight end. You look last week, Kelsey at 100, Pitts 91, and then Pitts at 88 the game before that. I mean, Mark Andrews had 2 touchdowns against them. That guy's been a shell of himself all year. Foster Moreau and both Jawan Johnson both have 50 plus. It goes on and on and on. So I think the biggest thing is watching them, obviously, since I've been back in the tight end, is their secondaries is so very undisciplined. They fall a lot for the play action and things like that. So when you talk about Kyle Shanahan, that's all he's going to run. It's play action all game long, especially with McCaffrey back, play action McCaffrey, and, hit Kittle over the middle. And I think the Buccaneers secondary also another thing with them, very undisciplined when it comes to tackling. Not very good tacklers. So you talk about George Kittle. I mean, the guy that probably breaks the most tackles of any tight end there is. I mean, I think at 55.5 yards, I had to play it. I know there's so many mouths to feed, but you get that guy in the ball in open space against his Buccaneers defense. I think it's gonna be for a massive yardage play.
Yeah, dude. And another thing to kind of back the Niners here, like when you watch that Buccaneers Chiefs game, I think a lot of people think that the Buccaneers got gypped, not getting a chance to actually win that game, and I think a lot of people would agree that they had a really good shot to beat the undefeated Chiefs team. and seeing them get plus 6.5 at home versus a Niners team. Like, I know we're buying the good news with the Niners a bit with McCaffrey, but I agree. I want to back the Niners more so than I want to back Tampa Bay. But any
I
other
would go
thoughts?
team total. Yeah, I was gonna say one thing. For some reason my gut tells me the Bucks somehow stay in this game.
Really?
I think mainly is because the 49ers defense is it's solid, don't get me wrong, but we're used to seeing them be elite, right? It's not. They're very injured. Their secondary's okay.
Yo,
still
Frosty, thank
missing
you for the sub, by the way.
W's. Still missing Greenlaw, who's obviously a massive piece. And I mean, the only reason why I don't have too much confidence is just because the Tampa Bay weapons, I mean, are just so depleted. But I mean, look at last week. I mean, Baker's been absolutely balling, and they've been finding ways to get guys open. I think Liam Cohen's proven himself to be an amazing play caller. He's probably going to be a head coach in a year or two. So I don't know why. Gut tells me Bucks somehow stay in this game. Obviously, you're selling high with the McCaffrey news too. And then something random as well. Talking about the secondary in Tampa. Tyke Smith is a guy to watch if you're a big college football fan. He was a dog at Georgia, and he's having an unbelievable rookie year as their slot corner. So that dude's awesome. Just want to throw that out there.
Nugget. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, this line is a little bit sketchy to me, right? San Francisco I know they've not been great this season, but this is still one of the more elite teams in the NFL versus a Tampa team who's just completely depleted. And yet you can win by a touchdown and still cover here with San Francisco. Feels like this is going to be a San Francisco by 3 kind of game to me. Feels like the Bucks keep it close.
How about this? I can rebuttal that. What would you set this line if San Francisco was at home?
10.5.
I would put it 10.5. Yeah.
So same line as the Patriots when San Fran played them earlier in the year. I think this line
all
is
these
fat.
injuries, maybe.
I think this line is fat with San Fran personally, with how good that Tampa Bay and how competitive they looked against Kansas City. For me, I mean, and you look at San Fran, look at what they did in that game they played the Chiefs. They lost by 10. So the fact that Bucks went to OT with the KC, I think a lot of people will be comfortable taking Tampa Bay with the points at home. That's just me personally. I'm not taking San Fran, but that angle alone, I just can't really back Tampa here.
Another prop that I really like in this game is Cade Otton, the Tampa tight end. Ever since Godwin and Evans went down, he's been the number one target on the entire team. He's had 10, 10, and 11 targets each of the last 3 weeks. And has turned that into 8, 9, and 8 receptions. So Baker is doing a good job feeding him the ball and completing the passes. He's only at a 58.5 yards number. I feel like in both scenarios where they're down big and they need to come back in garbage time, he gets the ball. And in some scenario where Tampa is actually super competitive and going out to a lead, it's probably because they fed him and did well with him, unless they hit some like deep bomb down the field to Trey Palmer or some shit like that. I don't see this being a big run game for Tampa. San Francisco's rush defense is too strong. I know they have Fred Warner at middle linebacker, but I still think that Otton will be able to find the open spots in the zone. And with how much they're feeding him, I feel like he has to continue to be played at decent numbers.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a fair point. All right, all good on this game. I think we move on from here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the Cade Otton and Kyle Pitts little 2-teamer snowman. Could be a little
tight
tight
end.
end.
Yeah, maybe Kittle in there too.
Rashad White, took him week 2 or 3 at -5 yards. So that guy's so banned for me. Probably a good look though. All right, I'll start us off here. Two worst teams in the league: Chicago Bears and Patriots. Honestly, I've almost gotten talked into betting the Bears every single week. I got Sandy blowing me up, telling me not to quit. Token. I mean, dude, it's just there's Max. Bro, he literally said, "Do you like the Bears on the spread today?" I said, "No, that team fucking sucks." He goes, "You can't quit now, man. They don't want you to place the -7."
Oh my God.
But no, I mean, the problem with me is I know too much about this team now, where our line sucks to begin with, and I think 3 of our starters are out, so it's gonna be bad. We just gave up 8, 9 sacks to the Cardinals. Obviously, you'd want to lean Swift. I mean, heavy favorite at home. New England has the worst rush defense in the league with all their injuries as well. I saw Cam was on Odunze. He would be the only Bears weapon, honestly, because he's been our best receiver. And obviously, you guys know I think he's an absolute stud. There's just not really enough volume, but he's starting to get it. Like, they're starting to design plays for him, and he's been taking advantage of it. But, again, the pressure scares me. I mean, New England shipped off the guy to Atlanta earlier, and then Uche just to the Chiefs. Like, they'll probably still get pressure somehow. Every team has gotten pressure. So That's the only reason why it scares me. But we are a different team at home. I don't know. I'm not taking anything. I can't do it again. I would lean Odunze and Swift. That's it.
When you have a big moment in a game, like in that Washington game where you lose on the Hail Mary, how you respond is just so key. It's just so important because that shows the discipline. It shows how you're coached. It shows the team's desire to win. So going out and then getting fucking destroyed by the Cardinals is not a good sign for the Bears, in my opinion. I am completely out on this team. I think that they're completely cooked. The team has quit on the coaches. The coaches are shit to begin with. As Royal said, the offensive line is bad and completely depleted. So, you look at the over-under in this spot, 39 points. They're expecting a super low-scoring game. Why not take almost a touchdown in that spot? I love New England plus 6.5 here.
That's fair. So you're making me hate my bet, but I ended up rocking with Swift. It might be square, whatever you want to call it, but under in his last spot, and it could be taxed at just a bad rush defense. But his line's set at 70.5. This is something he hasn't set at all year. For me, I can't overthink this one. It makes sense football brain wise. It makes sense line wise for me. And maybe you're right. Maybe this team is completely done. But I think this is the spot to buy low on the Bears, to be honest with you. Last week was the spot where everyone thought they were going to bounce back. For me, this is the spot where I think they're going to lean heavy on Swift. Like looking at Caleb's prop lines, for me, I don't know if he's going to be throwing the ball. I know you're on Odunze, Cam. I don't hate it. I think it's just a Swift day, man. It just feels that way to me. It's not one of my most confident because it's not – I wouldn't call it contrarian or sharp. You're just kind of playing a guy in a spot where you're somewhat buying low against a really bad rush defense, right? So I'm not going to sell you crazy on it, but that's the spot I ended up taking today. Can you sell me on Odunze, Cam? I want to hear.
Yeah, use him. Simple as
that.
that.
I mean, DeAndre Swift is a big reason why I like Odunze today. When you look at this matchup, the Bears are going to be able to run the ball all day long with Swift. Probably see a lot of Roschon Johnson as well too. But when you look at when the Bears run play action, they run their deep crossers to usually Odunze. So when you set his line at 37.5, DJ Moore is going to draw a lot of Christian Gonzalez today. So I think Odunze is going to feast. I mean, Keenan Allen's a shell of himself. I want nothing to do with him whatsoever. Sorry, Royal, but when you look at rookie wide receivers,
it's actually a really good point, Cam, too, because Swift's attempts are actually through the roof today, too.
Yeah, they're going to pound the rock and run play action, man. And when you look at what was I saying? Odunze, but especially rookie wide receivers, first round picks that don't really get it rolling. It's after the bye week they start picking it up, right? So Odunze obviously had a little bit of didn't do great against the Commanders, but had a solid game, and then Arizona kind of blew up. Obviously, Caleb has chemistry with him more than anyone else. So I just think this is the way Caleb operates. He's going to start force feeding Odunze a little bit more, especially when Gonzalez is going to be on DJ Moore. So I think you see a lot of Swift today, but the play action plays and the shots are going to go to Romeo.
W correlation. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, like I said, Odunze has been literally our best weapon for him and Swift. I mean, he's looked the part too. Like, it's not just he's the third option. Like, they drafted him at 9 for a reason. Now we're seeing it why. And I've said it all season. Like, this dude has been open all season. I'm sure Snowman can relate. There's so many clips. His fucking dad was tweeting out clips of him wide open. Like, he's been
his dad
open.
Does not like Caleb Williams.
No. But yeah, I love Rome. It's not even biased. I genuinely just think he's so good. I was so happy when we got him. I was honestly surprised, but yeah, I think you said it perfectly. Gonzalez has been a star. He's been kind of clamping up these good receivers, and he'll obviously draw DJ, and that's going to leave Rome in a better matchup. And I mean, Keenan Allen just fucking stinks, man. Like, I cannot wait for him to be gone. Sounds crazy, but to me, he kind of just fucks everything up because I feel like Caleb almost feels like obligated. I got to get Keenan the ball because he's been so good and he's a star. Fuck that guy.
It's tough for me to blame Keenan when our coaching is just so bad.
No, I'm not blaming him personally. I think it's just his presence just fucks everything up because he's been so good all these years, right? Like, a lot of plays are drawn up for him. And yeah, obviously Patriots play a lot of man. He's going to be the hot route guy, but to me, I want to see Odunze cook somebody on a double move, shit like that.
Yep. Another spot I like in this game is Stevenson on the Patriots to get a touchdown. He's in my touchdown parlay for the day. Back-to-back weeks with 2 touchdowns. They're feeding him in the red zone again. This just feels like a game where the Bears are going to be behind at some point. So I know the Patriots got to get in the end zone. I don't trust any of their receivers. this is either a Drake May or Ramondre Stevenson rush touchdown game. I'll stick with Stevenson.
I like that. We can make a touchdown parlay at the end with all of us, maybe a 4-legger. That'd be fun. I like that a lot. He's on my fantasy team, so I don't hate it at all.
And
I did
a
not go
nice
back
plus
to it.
160 odds too when he scored 2 touchdowns back-to-back weeks.
I also
Coochie, that's
forgot.
crazy,
I
by the
went
way.
back to Hunter Henry on this matchup too. I mean, he's over 4.5 catches is plus 130. You talk about the Bears run a lot of cover too, but Henry with Drake May is getting like a 26% target share. Like, that's obviously his boy, his safety blanket. I do think the Bears are going to be, hopefully ahead in this matchup. So a lot of pass attempts coming from the Patriots side.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't expect the Bears to be ahead.
Oh no, not that. I'm saying I hope we lose at this point.
But you don't attack Chicago's corner, so I like Henry over the middle.
Yeah, I
Cool.
agree with you there.
I like that a lot.
One bright spot is Jalen Johnson.
Dude, last thing I'll say on Swift, you guys kind of mentioned it. This guy with way better splits at home. He averages like I think a yard and a half higher at home this year. So just another thing to note. Next game, Minnesota and Jacksonville. I do have a play in this. I ended up taking Aaron Jones, rushing and receiving. So this is a guy who's under in 2 straight weeks against a Jacksonville team that I just don't believe in general. And for me, if I'm this Minnesota Vikings team, I'm leaning on Aaron Jones in this spot. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts on this. It's honestly, I think Aaron Jones, leading rusher for today, could be a really good look, personally. Would love to hear what you guys think, because I think it's the best spot, honestly, that I could find on the board today in terms of a prop is Aaron Jones.
I feel like this game is how much you believe in Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Right? Because if you think that he's dog shit, then it's just going to be a Vikings blowout. You can't take any Jefferson or Addison or Hawkinson. You just got to ride the rush. Or if you think that Jones is going to be capable and, relatively equal to Trevor Lawrence, then there could be a lot of opportunity in this game for both sides. I kind of lean towards Mac Jones being okay, right? This is, his opportunity now to not just audition for the Jags job, which he's not going to get, but for the rest of the league and see like, hey, maybe I can be in that Sam Darnold kind of role where there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks drafted next year, and there's going to be some teams that want to bring in a veteran for them to sit behind. So I think this is a really important opportunity for Mac Jones, and I do think that he's going to be decent. The Vikings, their defense is super strong on the rush side of things, not so much on the pass side of things. So I would maybe look at Mac Jones over 206.5 passing yards here on a buy low spot where nobody wants to take him at all. And again, because there's just a lot of scenarios where this can hit. If this ends up being a huge garbage time game, he could feast in there. And again, with the strong rush defense of Minnesota, I'd rather take the Jags pass attack here.
Yeah,
That's
some
fair.
good points. Brian Thomas has a great matchup, as you mentioned, right? Their secondary is really not their specialty. It's their rush. It's their pass rush. Again, I can't get to the table because of Mac Jones. I just don't want to get involved. Like, I just want to watch it play out, honestly, because obviously, Brian Flores' scheme. He makes it so hard on QBs, especially a guy like Mac who hasn't really played in well over a year. So I don't want to get involved. I definitely see what you're saying. It's not as bad as a matchup as it seems, but somebody brought up a good point too. Like, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying actually good, but yeah, he was in a terrible situation there. Like,
That's
maybe it
fair
could be
to say,
similar
yeah.
to Darnold, but I don't want to get involved. I would love to take Brian Thomas here with all their injuries, and obviously he's just a stud, and they should be trailing, but I don't know if I can trust it. But yeah, I think there's definitely some value here. And you mentioned too, like, this is a smash spot for Jefferson, but it's like, how much are they going to be throwing, So, I mean, the Jaguars play the most man coverage, I'm pretty sure. At least they have all season. And, like, they have nobody that's good in man coverage. So, guarding Jefferson is going to be tough. But like you said, his line's probably at 100. And is he going to get there? I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you like Jefferson, you go with the longest reception prop for him.
Yeah,
Because
I
he could
agree.
absolutely toast them over the top, but there's too much risk of a blowout.
game.
I do have some exposure to Jefferson on the slate because I could easily see it if it is a relatively competitive game. He could have a massive game, but I'm not taking him straight up. I just have a lotto with his like 120 yards just in case.
Oh, my Tracy.
Yeah, keep me away from this shit, man. I mean, Matt Jones off the bench against Brian Flores' defense, I'm good. I'm gonna watch play out.
Say less.
And yeah, I was there with you, man. Like, I wanted to back Aaron Jones so much, but it's literally everything I just said right now. Like, I could see It's one of those
There's
things
too
where
many
the red zone
guys.
clip to Matt Jones throwing a pick 6 on the 20-yard line, or Matt Jones fumble 6. You know what I mean? And next thing
Okay, yeah.
yeah, Ty Chandler.
There's
and
not
Cam
going to be
Akers are
enough
playing running back.
opportunities for the offense. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like I just don't want to back starters for the Vikings in this game just because I think it can get that ugly for Jacksonville. And I was honestly waiting for them to post like Cam Akers 10.5 rushing yards, and I would have.
He's been good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like give him 5 or 6 carries in garbage time and 2 yards per carry. I'm
Akers is up right now 17.5.
I kind of like that because he pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, Ty Chandler doesn't see the ball anymore for whatever reason.
Yeah, he completely just out of the rotation.
I liked him too. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I mean, you got Brian Thomas. I don't know if you guys saw the clips against him last week. I mean, NJ's probably watching the game, but he was avoiding contact at every single time. You know, catching the ball, running straight out of bounds, or falling down. So
Really, I didn't see that.
Do we need to ride the Cam Akers, Jordan Mason rush yards ladder?
Honestly,
one of those full ladders is paying out.
40 plus for both those guys could be a look. Can't lie.
Mason just worries me, man, because that boy loves to be in the blue tent. But
yeah, and that other guy was mad good too. I cannot remember his name. Yeah, he's
Durando from
really
Louisville.
Yeah. Yeah, this game's tough. I mean, like I said, Thomas has a good matchup. I didn't know all that, so that would make me hesitant as well. I have no interest in Evan Ingram. Just always thought that guy was kind of a bum. Obviously, Christian Kirk's out, which takes away someone else. So unless you're a Gabe Davis fan, which I'm not, nobody for me on this game.
Fair.
Unless you're like actually Crutch just messaged me too, like ETN or I forgot the other guy, but like dump offs and shit. Isn't Dearness like the receiver? That's the thing though. There's 3
That's
of
the
them.
thing. Like
too,
even
so
you can back one of them because one drop on their bench the rest of the game. Like
exactly. Yeah, just move on. Fuck this game.
Tennessee, LA. This is one of the games I really don't have a great read in. I have a play in the next game, but feel free if one of you guys got something.
I mean,
no.
It's the only thing I'll say it again is I've taken Lad McConkey every week. It's a prime matchup for him again. My only fear of why I can't do it is I don't know how much they're going to be throwing because we always talk about running the clock out, but Harbaugh and the Chargers have been the king of that. So I don't know if we'll get the volume for 56 plus yards, but the matchup's insane. I mean, this guy is the second best receiver versus man coverage because he's just so good in the short game and makes incredible catches, honestly. But yeah, I'm good on this game. I think I don't even want to target Dobbins because Tennessee's front 7 is actually good. So I don't know. This game's tough. I mean, I can't take either side here. It's so ugly. I got nothing.
Yeah, the only thing I like in this game is a Tony Pollard touchdown. It hasn't gotten in 3 weeks. They gave him 6 attempts last week in the red zone and couldn't get in. I think he finally hits pay dirt this week.
Yeah, I was trying to get there with actually Tajay Spears, like something in the passing game, either receptions or receiving yards. The one thing that worries me about Tony Pollard is extremely limited in practice the last 2 weeks, and obviously plays the game a massive amount of carries. But now they have Spears back in the mix, coming off the IR. I think they utilize Spears here a little bit, especially in the passing game if they're trailing. Just because how banged up Pollard's been, and this game gets ugly pretty quick. Don't have Pollard out there die, you know what I mean? Especially with Will Levis. So I really wanted to back Spears, but at the same time, Spears coming off the IR, he fully practiced with hamstring. I'm not trying to back or running back first game back from a hamstring injury. So ultimately, I didn't get there, but that's the only direction I was leading.
Good point.
By adding Lad again, I've done this the past 2 weeks where I just add him and not overthink it.
You're going to be beating yourself up if you don't and he goes over. So it's up to you.
We'll see.
All right. Jets, Arizona. For me, I'm taking this over 46. This is the highest total in the last 3 games for a few of these teams. You could call it the Jets looking good in their last week, but I think it's a good matchup for both these squads to score some points. I think the Jets will finally click. I don't have a lean in either side. I honestly, if gun to my head, I would tend to lean Arizona here, but I do think the Jets have a good matchup offensively and they can score some points. Seeing the Jets total at 46, you could say it's against Arizona, but highest total of the year, and I think it's for a reason. and I'm going to lean into that. So I think Devontae Adams has a great day. I think Aaron Rodgers can sling the rock against this Arizona secondary. I also think Kyler Murray can get it done with his legs and make his offense efficient like we've seen in the past. So I think it's just upside for points in this spot. I don't hate any kind of prop either. James Conner should do his thing. I mean, there's a lot to like in this game.
You need Adrian Peterson.
Yeah,
I whipped out the Brees Hall ladder in this game.
Really?
I almost did that
Going
too,
against
yeah.
the Arizona front seven, giving up 115 yards a game on the ground. I think Brees Hall just gets fed in this game. Hasn't really had that. I think only in one game he's gone over 100 yards rushing. Obviously, a big part of the passing game, but I just see him to get fed, man. Give him that 15 and 17 carry mark against his Arizona defense. I think they're going to try avoiding the Buda Baker and those type of guys. So just pound the rock, open up the play action with shots to Garrett and Devontae all game. So
Yep.
I think Hall's. It's been a long time since we see Hall in red zone going crazy with the massive runs and stuff like that. I think this dude is a break a long one.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, I like Adams' receptions in this game. Sneakily, ever since he came over in the trade, he has been running very, very short routes. They're throwing him a lot of slants, a lot of curls, a lot of routes that are 10 yards and under, which is great for receptions. They've moved Garrett Wilson into that kind of deeper threat down the field. Both of them have the exact same receptions prop this week at 5.5, heavily juiced. So give me the guy who's been getting the underneath stuff, and we know that he's generally speaking Rodgers' preferred target. So I'm gonna ride Adams' receptions today. I think that he could be definitely get fed, and this is a competitive game, so there should be no need for them to just run the ball unless they're up huge at the very end. And in a situation where they get up huge in this game, it's probably they've been moving the ball well on offense, and Adams is probably heavily involved.
Yeah, that's fair. Royal, anything?
No, sorry, I was getting out a meme. Hopefully it does well. No, I almost got there with Brees Hall as well. I almost got there with Brees Hall as well. I mean, how good did the Cardinals defense look? And yes, is it mostly because of the Bears being rat shit? Yes. But people are going to be thinking this defense is actually good when it's actually terrible. I like Brees Hall. I mean, this front seven is so bad. He's obviously arguably the best running back in the league. And I think it's a fade on Arizona. I mean, I would lean the Jets here. I think people are still kind of hesitant to back them, and Arizona's really good. So I would lean the Jets on the road. I'm trying to think how to word it. Like, the Jets defense is just not the same. However, their secondary is still solid, where I think they can kind of clamp up Marvin a little bit. I know he's better versus man, but man, that line's low, and it's kind of telling. And McBride's much better versus zone, which the Jets don't really run. So I don't like Connor either, honestly. I really don't.
It's hard for me to lean into the spread with the Jets because they've just been sharp every week, and they continuously burn people. So I don't want to lean into it too much. And they looked great last week. So that's the only thing making me want to take the Cardinals if I had to take a side. But any other thoughts here, guys?
I kind of lean towards the Jets as well. I mean, the Cardinals, they played just a dog shit Bears team who was horrible last week. And then their 2 wins before that both came on walk-off field goals. So it feels like they're kind of due for a loss here.
Fair.
Yeah, I feel like once everyone starts buying into Arizona and, Arizona's rolling, buying into Kyler, that's when they lay the egg and they're down 20 at halftime. So
at the same time, Jets coming off a win against Houston is nothing to, you could be buying into the Jets a little bit too. Fair.
Yeah, but everyone that's chasing the Jets now is already down 20 units from the first 8 weeks of the year. So
that's why. That's
Yeah.
also why I lean the Jets too. They beat the Texans without Nico and Diggs.
Yeah,
no one's gonna give them credit for that win, in my opinion.
I just don't. I can't. The way Kyler operates, man. That Jets pass rush, that's gonna cause him a lot of fits, So I could see him throwing some. I actually someone's posted in the chat, Kyler INT plus 110. I can definitely get behind that.
I know Aaron Rodgers is a statue in the pocket, but are we really expecting another 6-sack performance from this Cardinals defense?
Yeah, no.
Makes me like the over even more.
Last week, apparently, they signed Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and DeMarcus Ware. So if those guys are playing again, then yes. But I think that was just a 1-week stint.
JJ Watt off the bench.
Yeah, JJ Watt was in there too. Fucking Mean Joe Green, I think we saw him come back.
Yeah.
There's Randy White on the sack.
Reggie White, that's what I was thinking of.
Philly, Dallas. I mean, do we just take Saquon and move on here? Good Lord, this guy's a robot. If you told me earlier in the season that Philly was going to get an opportunity to play Dallas with a third-string quarterback, I mean, I'm loving that as a fan. I don't know what to think of this line. It feels like almost too easy to take Philly here.
Yeah, this line is sketching me the fuck out. You have a backup quarterback in Cooper Rush. You have a ton of defenders out for Dallas. Even when the starters were in, they haven't looked that good.
I mean, how did the Eagles not route this team?
Right. Everyone's expecting an Eagles blowout. This line could have been 13.5, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So why is it only 7? That's the only thing that's kind of stressing me out here.
I think it's 2 or 3 points short for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Flat 7 too.
I can't give you a reason why if Dallas stays in this game. I couldn't tell you why. I mean, Dallas has had one of the worst rush defenses all season, and we all know what Philly has. I mean, Hurts can run. Saquon's obviously a fucking monster, that O-line. And even still, you still got Brown. You still got Smith. Like, it makes no sense. I don't want to get involved in anything here. Honestly, if anything, I would lean like Dowdle receiving or some shit, just because I think it's going to be hard to get CD the ball. Philly's secondary is playing a lot better, but I mean, is that chemistry going to be there? Is those deep shots going to be there that normally Dak completes? I don't know. But Dowdle's been sneakily pretty good since he came back, and he's a good receiver too. So I wouldn't hate that as like a safety blanket type play.
I mean, clearly this line, you can't make it too much higher because of Dallas has acquired that elite wide receiver, Jonathan Mingo. You know, so now you have CD Lamb and Jonathan Mingo. You got Jerry Rice and DeAndre Hopkins back there. So that's a big boost to Dallas's offense.
Man, people used to hype that guy up like crazy.
Any Ole Miss wide receiver gets hyped up like crazy. It's because they're freaking like the crazy.
Elijah Moore, he's the most TU out there. Yeah, I like CeeDee Lamb receptions in this game. They were looking at him a lot on underneath routes last week against Atlanta. I think that they're not going to have Cooper Rush throw the ball super deep down the field. Game script would imply Dallas is going to be down and needing a pass to catch back up. And when you're a backup quarterback coming in, feels like they mostly like to feed the number one target. And I mean, you've been passing to these bums in the practice squad in practice all week for weeks leading up to this. And now you get a chance to throw to one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL in CeeDee Lamb. He's been getting fed the ball recently, 14, 17, 12 targets the last 3 weeks. I know it's a different QB in there, but 5.5 for his receptions number feels very low.
Don't sleep on my boy Quinyon Mitchell. Don't sleep on my boy. No, but
Gene's been good too.
DeJean's been good. That's the only thing. I mean, Philly's defense has been stout recently. This game just makes no sense to me, and I'm not going to let my Philly bias play into it. So I can't give you guys like something I really love.
Big out of you.
Ultimately, all I'm playing is Saquon and moving on, like we said at the beginning.
Yeah.
If you're Dallas though, like how do you go to Cooper Rush over Trey Lance if the guy you traded?
Because Trey Lance can't play quarterback.
I'm not disagreeing there. You know what I mean? If there's ever a time to hype up someone to maybe trade for something, get your 4th round pick and trade for Jonathan Mingo back. Now is the time. You know what I mean?
The deadline's already over though.
No, I think it's
for the off season.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually forgot about Trey Lance. Jesus.
It's easy to do.
This should be on paper. I mean, one of the best games of the day, Detroit-Houston. You can make an argument the spot is Houston, right? Coming off a bad loss, probably their worst offensive performance. Detroit has looked unbelievable. But what is your guys' thoughts here? I couldn't really get there with anything. I mean, I tailed you on Amon-Ra. I liked your read on that, Royal, but I'm not going to steal the spotlight on that for you.
Oh my God, dude! Legette's gonna cause me so much pain. I think Houston gives them trouble. Not that they're. I mean, maybe they'll lead. I think it's closer than people think. But again, I don't want to get in the way of Detroit. There's no reason to. To me, they're the best roster on paper, top to bottom. Obviously, Chiefs with Mahomes, probably the best team as of right now. But this is the best built team. I mean, they have the best line. They have stars everywhere. Even with Hutchinson out, I mean. As good as he's been, I mean, it hasn't looked like they missed a beat. So, not sure what's going on there. They just got Za'Darius Smith, which was much needed. But, yeah, I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I actually was looking into it today or yesterday. He's actually bad versus man coverage, which I thought was crazy because these superstar wide receivers normally just are good in every game and matchup. But he's pretty bad in man coverage, again, which I thought was crazy. Very good versus zone. Houston runs a ton of soft zone. We know D'Amico loves doing that. We saw it in 49ers when he was there. And honestly, I think this game's closer where they're not just going to be able to drain the clock. So I like Amon-Ra. I got 63.5, I want to say. really not much of a sell job needed there. The matchup's there. It is in a dome, which I know people like. But yeah, I like Amon-Ra.
I mean, I kind of like the Texans plus 3.5 here too, and we have a high over under of 50. So if the Texans are going to keep it close and it's going to be a high scoring game, then how are the Texans moving the ball down the field? I don't necessarily love taking Nico Collins coming off of an injury like that. And so I kind of like Tank Dell in this spot. They were looking for him absolutely deep down the field last week, 9 targets. And in a spot where, the game script ends up being a Lions blowout, which is very possible, Houston has to be throwing the ball to catch back up. I kind of like Dell here as the receiving threat for Houston.
Yeah,
Don't hate
man.
that at all.
The spot definitely says Houston, right? But my football brain can't allow me to get there. I think the
So
Lions
sick
are
of
moving.
fading the Lions, dude. I hate
I
it.
know, but I think the Lions are going to move the ball at will against Houston's defense. I mean, they just match up so well with them. And on the flip side, then you need Stroud to keep putting up points, which obviously he's capable of doing. But with that offensive line he's operating with right now, man, it's not pretty. Like that O line is getting him killed back there. Don't love all the shots and stuff he's taking. So I just don't think that Houston's going to be able to, keep putting up the points with them. I think if you do like Houston, you like the over. Because I think Houston's going to be throwing the ball a lot, trying to play a lot of catch up. So I'm not there yet, depending on how the slate goes. Either down 10 units chasing or adding more, having a good day. But I really want to fade Joe Mixon. He's been balling, he's been going crazy, but it's Joe Mixon, man. I don't like to wish injury or anything on anybody, but I mean, he's going to leave a game here sooner than later. He plays that workhorse running back role, but it gets him hurt a lot. So I think against a game where they're trailing and stuff like that, you'll see more of that backup running back. Dyer. I'm not going to try to go.
Ogunbowale.
Yeah.
There you guys go. More of the pass.
Nebraska legend.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I was actually looking at CJ Stroud's pass attempts. Really fucking high. 34.5 after going under.
It's probably the first time they're dogs, right?
Yeah. Versus the Jets versus the Jets last week was at 31.5. So three pass attempt boost or bump from last week. I guess you could say Nico Collins is back, so that's going to attribute towards it. But I was looking into that, so it does feel like a passing game script for Houston. So I think if you want to back Houston, you back a receiver like Snowman was talking about, and if you want to back Detroit, I mean, it feels like anybody on Detroit could be a good look, and Amon-Ra has the best matchup on paper, so I like the look roll.
I also don't mind the Stroud. I also don't mind the Stroud pass prop looks. He's been pretty cold. 3 of the last 4 weeks under 200 yards. Feels like a good bounce back spot.
And that correlates right into what I was going to say. I honestly might just get there with Nico. I know you said you're a little hesitant with Snowman, which I agree 100%. We don't know his workload, assuming he's fine, but he was unbelievable versus man coverage. I know I talk about coverages a lot, but that's what I've seen the most success with. And again, Lions play a shit ton of man, and if you can tell me one good guy in the secondary that they have, please do. Obviously, I love Brian Branch. He's a stud, but he's not out there to play man coverage and lock somebody down. So, yeah, if you can tell me who's stopping Nico, let me know. But if
his
not,
own hamstring.
His hamstring. I was about to say.
like if he ends with 100-something again like he did all season, are we going to be shocked? No. So, I might get there. We'll see how the day plays out, but yeah, I think he's in for a big night, honestly. I do like Dell, though, too, Snowman. I think he's going to have a huge day underneath.
Yeah.
Honestly, like you said, it might just be Stroud because they're getting healthy. This is the matchup where they're probably going to be trailing and throwing. And, I mean, I think Stroud's easily a top 5 quarterback. I like him versus any defense, so it doesn't scare me in that sense.
So his pass completions and pass attempts was kind of the angle that I was going to go after, but I went with pass attempts.
I'll tell you on that token.
Let's do a little touchdown parlay before we wrap up here.
Oh boy,
Royal hates these.
I'm terrible at them, dude. Actually, I think I've been like somewhat decent with these. Did Montgomery score last week? I don't think so.
I think he did.
Did he? I can't remember.
You
almost.
You know what? Actually, no, he did not because I had a
didn't
parlay
touch
where he was the only one to sell on his touchdown. Never mind.
He didn't play in the second half till the last drive. I was like shocked.
They have a really weird scheme with them. They like to use Montgomery in the first quarter and then bench him for like the second and third.
Which is so weird because they gave him a pretty good contract too.
Yeah, I think it's because like they like to use Gibbs better, but they want to use Montgomery early on to kind of like soften up the defense and then unleash Gibbs in the second half of the game.
Yeah, so I'm staying far away from Monty, honestly. I thought it was just like a one-time thing. Maybe he's a little banged up because we've all seen how good he is. Like, is he Saquon? No, but is he above average running back and behind the best offensive line in the league? Yes. Is he going to run your ass over? Yes.
That's why I like playing Monty first quarter rush yards, because it'll be about a quarter of his overall total, but he gets the majority of his work in the first quarter.
Yeah, he was at like 50 last week.
right.
Touchdowns. Let me see.
Stevenson first. We want to do that?
I don't hate that. Our
Yeah,
defense
I
is
like
terrible.
Stevenson.
All right,
I feel like we have to have Saquon in there from somebody. I mean, that just feels too free. Although it is like minus 170, so maybe it's
yeah, minus 170.
Probably Hurts. Hurts 3 touch pushes probably.
Let's do. I'm down for Hurts, dude. Honestly. Yeah.
That's the
when's
thing,
last
it's
time we had a
like-
touchdown?
Hurts has
also
scored in
scary.
3 straight games on the ground.
Oof.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I
Never
kind of
mind.
like. Oh, dude, we skipped over Bills Colts by the way, and then
Oh yeah.
It's fine.
Denver and Chiefs.
We don't gotta go back there.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, a lot of people like your Colts though today.
Yeah, man. Don't even.
I liked Shakir a lot until Coleman got ruled out and he got bumped 10 yards. But honestly, I still like it. But
Yeah, Cooper's out now too.
oh boy,
So his
Oh.
line's probably skyrocketing even more.
I think I got 55.
His season long was like 615, and he's already like mid 550. Man, I'm trying. Hopefully, he gets there today for me.
Chat. What do you guys like for touchdowns today? Drop some.
I mean, I don't see how we don't throw your boy Aaron Jones in there.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do that. I like that.
I think he's like minus 110 or something like that, plus 100.
I like that. Let's do that. Stevenson, Aaron Jones.
I'll take Brees
Dude.
Hall.
Who
And
scores in the Jets Cardinals game, bro?
Brees.
Probably Braylon Allen. That's why I hate these, man. Brees will run 99 yards and then they'll put in Allen to score.
Jones, Stevenson, Brees. I could get down with that.
I do
Wilson
like
had a
Jones.
tutty.
I like
When's the last time Wilson had a tutty?
Last game.
Oh yeah, that one-handed catch. What about
Yeah, I was gonna
Devontae?
say.
You know who's due
Also
for a
last
tutty?
game.
Your boy Roshan Johnson, man.
Dude, I was gonna say that's why I don't want to put Swift in there. 100.
Yeah.
I was literally about to say that.
The 2-yard running back, man. He's plus 280. I mean, you could take him to score a touchdown instead of yards because it was 6 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown.
And Khalil Herbert is off the team now, so he's got even more opportunity. Even though Herbert wasn't really getting much work,
Yeah,
he did
and
steal a few goal line carries.
don't think
What
they're
about our
running
D
anymore,
tackle that ran the ball? Or
I
our
was saying, I don't think they're
He's a
running more
lock,
full-back dive.
touchdown lock every week.
Real, man. I would love to know the hit rate on that Roshan package. I think it was literally 100. And then we go away from it for what?
We skipped this Kansas City game, but I do like Kareem Hunt for a touchdown as well. He did not have one last week, but he scored every other week. Besides that, I think they really like him in the red zone.
That game's weird.
Oh no, wait, he did score last week. Never mind. He has 4 consecutive games with touchdowns.
Yeah, I got to take off, fellas. But I appreciate you guys having me.
All right,
Yeah,
see you,
dude,
bro. Thanks
Cam.
for coming on.
I'll drop your Twitter in chat. Make sure you go follow Cam. We'll have you on more, bro. Thanks for coming.
Good to meet you, bro.
There he is. Awesome. All right, so I do
I
like
have
Roshan,
Stevenson,
too.
Jones, and St. Brown.
Yeah, I like St. Brown. I guess just put Brees. What's Brees' odds? Is it crazy juiced?
I think minus 120, I think.
It's not that bad.
I'm
Did
down.
you-
Brees
throw a
is
lot of
kind.
goal
He is
line
kind of
plays,
due. He's
though.
only had 1 touchdown in the last 6 games.
I'm down.
All right, it's just
Stevenson,
not-
Jones, St. Brown, Brees. I like that.
I don't know. Where did we lean on this game?
Stevenson, Jones, St. Brown,
Brees.
Brees. Beautiful. I'll drop his Twitter in here. All right, beautiful. Cards are posted. Parlay is created. All right, guys. Anything else before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in piss after Germany apparently.
Well, that's all right. Some Germany piss never hurt, you know? Snowman?
I mean, Leggett hasn't seen a target since the Vietnam War, and Danny Jones is just So, Neighbors
So we-
had
What do we
0
get for betting a fucking Giants international game, dude? What are we doing?
The NFL just has to really hate its German fans for them to send
Yeah.
Bryce Young versus Daniel Jones as this game.
Yeah.
Like, isn't
It's
the
the
goal
first
with
one,
these
too.
international games to like bring new fans in and give them some exciting games to watch so that they watch in the future? If I'm a German fan, I'm probably not watching much NFL after this game.
These guys probably think Bryce Young is like Mahomes. He actually looks fucking good.
It's got to be a punishment in some fashion for how bad
And
they
Leggett drops it. Okay.
play.
I
All right,
probably
but
think
Snowman,
Tracy and Hubbard are like 2 Hall of Fame running backs too.
They saw that flea flicker and their mind was just blown.
they've never seen anything like it. Chat, make sure you go show love to Snowman. Show love to his Twitch channel. Show love to his Twitter. He's the man for coming on. So we'll see you next Sunday, I guess, right?
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. Definitely check out the Twitch. We stream pretty much every day, giving out bets, talking sports, having fun.
Yep.
One prop I'm tailing from you. What is it? Most confident.
Most confident prop for me today, I think it's going to be Otten receiving yards. They've just been targeting him too much. I know that he's been very consistent and doing very well, but as long as he gets the targets, there's no reason why that won't continue. Good game script opportunity. And with the lack of receivers, I'm very confident continuing to go back to the well here.
All right, Snowman. W. Otten. I might have to pair that with Pitts like we were saying earlier. That's what I was feeling. Royal, anything else for the people before we get going? NBA card dropping?
Booker. Yeah, I'll look around.
Okay, who do you guys like for
probably
NBA? I still have a boost on FanDuel I got to use. I haven't done any
I like
for
Booker
NBA.
points a lot.
Right, you had Booker.
What was on Booker? I haven't looked into this late yet, but I'm gonna look and I'll post what I like.
I like
probably have,
Hachimura,
two or three
too.
plays. Some Hachi, I can get there.
Big Rui for points or rebounds.
Points. He's been terrible, and then I watched the Raptors game last night. I mean, they just have no paint defense. He's arguably going to be the biggest guy in the court aside from Davis. I mean, he's almost the same size as Pirtle, maybe an inch or two smaller. They got no backup center, so I don't really see.
Didn't the Lakers just play Toronto?
A few games ago, yeah.
Weird, an East versus West matchup back to back so early in the season like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Davis
like I
had
said
38
yesterday.
against them last game. Jeez.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I mean, I don't know how they'll do it, but I'm sure they'll scheme up something or try to. But like I said, the Raptors surprisingly have one of the best like catch and shoot defenses. So like they limit the kick out shooters, where Hachimura is more of a slasher. So kind of like him. Honestly, LeBron assists probably a good look. Last time this game happened, MJ and I cashed on D'Lo, but he I don't know what's been going on with him. He's probably going to get traded eventually or shipped off to Detroit or Charlotte. So
D'Lo being traded at the deadline, a tradition unlike any other.
and honestly, it's not because any team wants him. It's going to be a dump off or something in return. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just tough, right? Because like you want to take Reeves, you want to take Connect. I don't know. It's Lakers are tough, man. You also don't know what like LeBron you're going to get. Are you going to get 40-point LeBron or you're going to get CP3 LeBron? You don't know. So good thing is Hachimura plays like 35 minutes, so minutes are there and he's got a good matchup. So
Yeah, I'm looking at the slate now. What do we think about Zach Edey, 9.5 points, going up against Portland? Soft match against Ayton.
I would like that better. No, he did go over, but
He's been
You have
over 9.5, 5 out of the last 6 games.
you got to pick your spots with him because he gets his minutes cuts based off the matchup, and obviously he's a hack. But with Klingon and Ayton, he should be out there a lot.
I mean, Klingon, he went against them in the national championship game, had 38, and they lost. So there could be a revenge factor there, too.
Yeah, facts token. I love betting D'Lo too, man, because he always has such soft lines, and he's a fucking microwave. But man, Redick was right. I saw the clip was posted while he got benched. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
You see Redick like actually having an aneurysm on the sideline.
Good. That's what they need, bro. When you got AD, you got D'Lo's got some sort of ego. I mean, he was an absolute star at college, big draft pick. He's got something. And then you got Bron and
He's
AD.
playing in LA too.
They need a coach to fucking hold him accountable, and they haven't.
I feel like
had
his
that.
ego, though, ever since the whole Nick Young thing, it definitely fell off a little bit. I mean, he got so hated for that.
Mhm.
He's got something. Like, he still thinks he's probably one of the better point guards in the league.
You don't-
Probably.
He's like, oh, I play with LeBron and AD, so like, obviously, I'm not going to be averaging 30 like I normally should, like shit like
Yeah.
that. Because I mean, you guys remember at Ohio State, the guy was a fucking monster. So he was decent on the Timberwolves too. He's alright.
Dude,
I feel like he's
W-
always been like an empty 20-point a game kind of guy. He doesn't really blow you away and doesn't offer much on defense, but he's good to get some
Nothing.
points.
he'll hit
He's a
you.
liability
He'll
for
hit
sure.
4 threes every once in a while. That's pretty much all he's good for.
So who's
Um,
more talented, D'Lo or Reeves? Pure
D'Lo is more pure talent.
Who's the
Talent,
much
yeah.
better NBA player?
Reeves, yeah.
Exactly. That's all you need to know right there.
All right, chat. Thank you guys for coming through. Drop a test tube in chat. If you had a good time, drop a fuck off if you didn't enjoy stream. We love you guys. We will be back tomorrow for. Do we have a big NBA slate or is it an off day for us?
5 games, but trying to think of the primetime game. I can't remember it.
Is there a CBB tomorrow?
That's what I was gonna ask you or Snowman.
CBB tomorrow,
Looks
not
like,
a ton. I think there was one decent game.
Rutgers is playing, but no, there's like no competition. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the Tuesday is really good. Sorry, wait, tomorrow or is that Tuesday? Yeah, I think it's Tuesday is the really good slate where you have Duke versus Kentucky and Michigan
Yep.
State versus Kansas.
Yep. Tuesday. Yeah, we might
But
not be
tomorrow
live
is not
tomorrow.
great.
NFL
see.
game's really good.
Oh, really? Okay. Maybe we will be.
Dolphins, Rams.
All right. Maybe we'll be live. Maybe we won't. Look out for us. Appreciate you guys as always. Send us off, boys. What we got? Anything?
That's it. I'm just sweating now.
Yeah, just thanks for
Beautiful.
having me back on the stream. Let's fucking hit all of our bets today. Why not
Yes.
us? Why not fucking us?
I have a good feeling about
Appreciate
today,
you, Vinny.
Snowman.
Me too,
Much
me
love,
too.
guys.
Hey, isn't this called like Super Tuesday or some shit?
Yeah,
Doesn't
Tuesdays
think.
for college basketball is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Much
they try
love,
to
So
have
guys.
weird, man. Why Tuesday?
because there's
We
nothing
will
else
be
on.
Yeah, good point. That's actually a great point.
We will see you guys tomorrow or
Prize in the
Tuesday.
bag.
Extra sweet and sour. Thank you guys. And we will see
What
you
I'm
soon.
smoking, nigga. Smoking, put the fire to a hater. And smoke a nigga. I pull them whips out.
Wait, wow.
And I'm smoking, nigga. I'm smoking. You think you hot as me? Hold on, you must be smoking, nigga. You smoking, nigga. This OG Kush. What I'm smoking, nigga. I'm smoking. Put the fire to a hater. And smoke a nigga. I pull them
I'm
whips
turned
out.
out right now.
And I'm smoking, nigga. You think you hot as me? Hold on, you must be smoking, nigga. Cali weed in a Dutch. Purple lean in my
All right, I'm
cup.
getting some
Smoking
grub.
while I'm driving. Nigga, we be fucked up. Hit the weed and
I'm leaving
pass
you
out.
solo.
Homie, you an amateur. This bitch is bad as fuck, so I'ma grab a camera, bro.
That's
Feeling bank rolls, condo full of bad bitches. Lot of pills, lot of weed, and a lot of liquor. Sprinkle hash on the blunt.
No,
Bitch,
bro.
I'm rich and double cup.
No,
Ain't no
bro.
time
Always
being
Wandale,
wasted,
man.
tryna roll another
All right,
one. Shit,
oh.
these niggas getting high. Man, that's what we all do.
Much love,
She
guys.
know I'm with the Taylors. Wanna fuck the whole crew. Smoking out the Phantom Rose. Tryna stay low key. If what's in the air, then you know it's
No,
me.
it's me.
OG Kush, what I'm smoking, nigga. Smoking, put the fire to a hater and smoke a nigga. I pull them whips out and I'm smoking, nigga. I'm smoking, think you hot as me. Hold on, you must be smoking, nigga. You smoking, nigga. This